Hello, my friends, and welcome to another podcast episode. And today I am doing part 3 of the mini series called Create Your Embodied, Thriving, and Sacred Business. So, welcome to this part 3. Today we're going to be talking about moving from struggling to financial freedom. This is a subject that I feel really passionate about, something that I've been working on for myself for many years now. And this is the kind of a big thing for many of us, especially for those of us who come to this work with our hearts open, with lots of compassion and empathy, and wanting to make a positive, significant difference within our communities. And there are so many things in here that are important. And I think there are a couple of them, a few of them that I want to focus on today, because the subject of financial freedom and being able to embrace and create financial freedom through our business and within our life is a big one. And that's the thing that comes up again and again in the conversations that I have with female practitioners that are mentor and coach and train in my trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification. There seems to be quite a common theme in many of the conversations that I have, and something that I relate so much to. This cognitive dissonance between wanting to provide for ourselves and for our loved ones, for our families and our loved ones in the best possible way, and be able to do the work that we absolutely love wholeheartedly. And often those two are in conflict. And hence the cognitive dissonance. We're saying we want one thing, but the observed behavior shows something different. So many of us run our businesses in a way that just allows us to get by. So many of us experience this feast and famine within our business and our income. So many of us do amazing work with our clients. And yet at the end of the day, we can end up worrying about how we're going to pay our bills. Where is the next client coming from? And this connection between I'm doing this amazing work and yet I am still struggling financially. It becomes this huge gap within our business and our lives. There are parts of us that remind us that we are struggling. There might be sleepless nights, there might be worrying about the bills, there might be just getting by or having good months followed by very, very lean months. And really trying to work it out, how to do it in a different way. And I think a lot of it needs to come back to starting right from the beginning. And that is to really understand what we are trying to create. How do we want to grow our business? So that vision needs to include our financial freedom and abundance and prosperity. So really having a clear image in our mind about what it is that we are working towards. So for me, for many years, and you might relate to that, for many years, I just had this belief that I don't need a lot. I love doing what I'm doing. I don't need a lot. I just need this amount of money to cover my bills and a little bit to kind of, buy what I need. And that was the kind of focus, that was the energy, that was the belief, and that was that I had. And that was also the identity that I created for myself. That, having money is necessary, having money is good, but money is not the most important thing. And therefore, really just focusing on what it is that I need. I just need this, and what I needed always came. But there were a lot of sleepless nights. There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of worrying about how am I going to pay for this bill or for that bill. Till I realized that actually, if I think about financial freedom and abundance and prosperity, what I want is so much more financially. And that is not because I want a red Ferrari. I'm not a teenager or a teenage boy, really. What I want is to provide for myself, provide for my family, and have a slower pace of life, but doing amazing work with my clients, with other female practitioners from my training institute in one-to-one mentoring and coaching sessions, in the Embodied Business Mandala mentorship and mastermind program. I wanted to really make positive impact. And this is something that's been a drive for me for the last 20 years, since first time when I set up the support and supervision and training for our volunteers in a crisis center that I was working. That was 20 years ago. And since then, I absolutely loved it. I kind of felt like this is what I love. I love working with clients. I working with practitioners. I love this. I love watching people making deep changes that come from those deep embodied insights that allow them to see things in a different way and then implement it in a different way in their lives. And that's beautiful, and I absolutely love it. And at the same time, what I've come to understand is that money and that financial freedom, that money and the resources that come with it, allow me to work in a different way, allow me to take care of myself and my family, but allow me also to work in a different way. I don't have to say yes to every single opportunity that comes my way. I can take time to decide what I want to work on, who I want to work on, in a sense of what offers and training certifications and programs I offer, and how I want to work, what's the kind of structure and container that would work the best. I can decide something that I absolutely love, which is learning and studying. I've been doing it for the last 30 years. Every single year I do at least 1 or 2 courses because I love it. So not worrying about paying for those courses, but actually for it to be there, for me to say, this is the next thing that I want to learn. I want to spend a little bit of time on that, to be able to have my own therapy and focusing sessions, to be able to have business support and be part of the masterminds, to be able to be part of other business programs, to be able to have support in my business, like my wonderful VA, Fabi, who does a lot of work for me, who takes the tech and the systems kind of thing away from me, which is not my zone of genius. I can do it. It takes me a long time. I get quite frustrated with it. It's not a pleasant thing for me to do. And it takes me away from working with wonderful practitioners and creating trainings and programs, which is what I love. And so the abundance and the financial freedom and having money and resources allows for all of this, allows me to then work in a way that I want to work without working 7 days a week, and actually having life with my family and being able to go and visit my parents who live in a different country, who are, getting older, and not worrying that if anything comes up, I don't have money to actually pay for their flight tickets to go over there really quickly. So these are all things that really matter to me, in my personal life and in my work. And if you listen to the previous parts of this mini series, you know that I was talking about there is no separation between life and work. Your work is part of your life, and they need to work together in a really lovely way for you to do the work that you want to do. Because ultimately what we don't want to do is to do amazing work for our clients and struggle ourselves financially, struggle ourselves with being overworked, struggle ourselves with not having time to spend with our family in a way that we want to. All of that is so, so important. So noticing this cognitive dissonance that might be happening for us, that we say that we want, for example, to work in a certain way, we want to slow down, we want to take time to create, we want to be fully there, refreshed for our clients, and yet making decisions from a different place, from a place of I have to do it because I don't have money. I'm the kind of person that is always struggling. I'm doing amazing work, but financially it's not there. And so when we do our quarterly planning retreats as part of the embodied business mandala, mastermind and mentorship, we do it once a quarter, and we come together and we review the last quarter, and then we plan for the next quarter. And we take into consideration the season. What's the season? Like, my working schedule is different during the summer and during the autumn and winter, for example. So I focus on slightly different things. I don't, for example, deliver any trainings in August. So really looking at the review of the last quarter and the planning and bringing it in alignment with our vision. And then there is one question. After we do that and we look at what we want to achieve, what we want to work, all the different projects, all the kind of financial projections, what we'd like to bring in, then there is one question that we ask. So who do I need to become to achieve my goals? To really follow this plan that I just created and complete it in a way that feels like I succeeded in completing it. Because this is the embodiment part. This is the part of stopping or healing this cognitive dissonance, that we say we want to do something and then we do something different. Our behavior is different. So there is an element of who do I need to become? And that's the question of identity. That's a question of, well, who do I need to become? How do I see myself? What am I capable of doing as this person who completed these goals or who achieved those things that I just planned for the next quarter? This embodiment part goes beyond just the normal mindset of just saying, like, this is what I want to do, and repeating affirmations, for example, or acting as if. Like, you will never hear me to say to you, just act as if. It didn't work for me 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago, when I did a lot of NLP, and it still doesn't work for me now. Rather than moving from acting as if and pretending, we want to embody the qualities that that person with that identity has. Yeah. So the thing in here is that, and this is why I always say, like, if you were already that person, you would have achieved already those goals. Yeah, that would be the kind of matching thing. But the thing in here is we have to become that person in order to complete or achieve your goals. And that's the way, that's the order that we need to work with. It's really embodying those qualities of that person who has achieved those goals before we achieve those goals. That's how we merge this gap between where we are and where we want to be. We become that person. We work on embodying those qualities day after day. So we work with, this is where the somatic practices come, an understanding of the somatic practices. We work on embodying, feeling grounded, feeling creative, feeling open, feeling compassionate. We embody qualities of feeling safe enough, for example, to collaborate or create or to be visible. We embody qualities of a practitioner who loves her work and knows that what she does makes real positive impact for her clients and her community. We embody qualities of having, more joy, more peace of mind, more love for ourselves. We embrace who we are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We live this life through that lens of being part of life itself, or a manifestation of life. So what I'm talking about, and we act in the same way. So we create new habits to support it. We do the daily practices of, for example, embodied listening, and we bring the financial freedom to it. So, for example, for me, how it shifted for me is that I shifted from just thinking and believing that I don't need a lot, I just want this, into I'm really open to playing with it and working out what's possible. Like, I'm open to the financial freedom and abundance, to earning really good money, to bring in more money and resources, so then I can collaborate with other female practitioners who I really admire and who inspire me to create great projects. I want to be part of the one of the voices and be part of this change in how women run businesses that are run through the core values that I run through, making great positive impact for the clients and the communities, and they do it in a way that really looks after them in a very abundant and prosperous way. So then they can do more of that. It's kind of a reinforcing loop of, I do this, I do more of it, there is more abundance and prosperity, and so I do more of those projects within my community and I support others, and there is this ripple effect, or dandelion effect, as sometimes I talk about. So really understanding that financial freedom and being open to it is what will make the biggest shift for you, is what will really start tapping into your core beliefs and create your core beliefs in a different way. This is a very empowered place to be. This is a place that you will notice that it feels really steady. Like what I noticed since I started working with my beliefs around money, and it's been very, very interesting, because for me, often it felt like the money and the financial freedom is the final frontier. It's the thing that I've struggled quite a lot with. And for me, there are many different reasons. Like, for example, I worked in social care in London and in Kent in UK, with them through mental health and substance misuse and child protection. I've worked with some of the poorest families with so little access to the resources, with so many complex needs, that for me, it felt wrong to want a lot of money, even though I left social care 8 years ago now. There was still that belief of, oh my God, some people are really struggling, and all over the world, people are struggling. It's wrong and greedy to want more of those resources, more of that money. Till I realized that actually money is one of the best resources for social change. It's not just your time. It's not just your energy and focus. You actually need money in this 3D reality to make those changes. Imagine if you had additional 200,000 pounds, or 300,000 pounds, or 500,000 pounds. What could you do with that? What projects would you be able to create? How would you be able to work in a different way? How would you be able to support your family in a different way? This is something that really opened my eyes to working in a different way, to really understand, well, this is, if I didn't have to worry about where my money was coming from and how am I going to pay the bills, I could just focus rather than worry on creating more, on setting up projects, on working in a different way, on supporting other women, other female practitioners or other practitioners, of doing different projects, of collaborating with different amazing practitioners, and be part of that change. Can you see how it works? It's like, the money is not bad. The money is not the problem. The challenge is, as always, how do you use that amazing resource of money in your life? Is it going to go on yet another fast car, holiday, jets? Or is it going to go on having the best life with your family and supporting your community? Can you see we can do it in a different way? And that comes from embodied feminine wisdom. When you live in your embodied feminine wisdom, you don't spend that money on silly things. You don't throw it away. You don't waste it. You do amazing stuff with it for yourself, your family, and for your clients. And then it connects with the soul. It connects with honoring life. It connects with your calling. It connects with what's most important to you. So when you start looking from that perspective, what could change? What could change? Could you work, or is it worth it for you to work? Could you commit to working with this embodied mindset, embodying these beliefs? Like, for me, it's not that I know how it's going to happen, the kind of financial freedom that I am working towards. I don't know yet, but I am open to opportunities and synchronicities and abundance that comes with it. Like, I love my work. I love trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification. I love collaborating with other coaches and other practitioners. I love creating a social change. I love hearing how those female practitioners that came through our training are making social change within their communities and within their for themselves, for their families, and within their communities and for their clients. Like yesterday, we had our monthly question and answer support session for all cohorts. I'm just hearing it. It's like that, each one of those practitioners is doing it in their own way, through their own soul's calling. And so many are struggling with how to create that financial freedom. And it has to start with really becoming aware of that cognitive dissonance. If you believe that you can't do it, you won't be able to do it. If you are not open to it, even if it comes, you might miss it altogether. And so really having an idea of what your financial freedom would be, what would feel really amazing? amazing in a way. How would you live your life? What would you do with it? And the second part is, as I said, that who do you need to become? Who do you need to become? And are you open to it? Are you open to all the opportunities, coincidences, synchronicities, all the amazing stuff that can come your way? Saying yes to things, creating from your heart, sharing your passion, your love, your wisdom with your clients, inviting them to work with you, and letting go of people pleasing, letting go of undercharging, letting go of hiding, letting go of worrying about what people will think, staying aligned with your core values that include financial freedom, abundance, and prosperity for the benefit of all. So I hope that you find this exploration useful. I hope that this exploration, today's exploration, allows you to pause a little bit and actually start thinking about, what do I believe about money, about people who have money, about financial prosperity? One other thing that I wanted to say in here, what's really fascinating for me is to see how differently people talk about money within the coaching community versus yoga and healing community. It's absolutely fascinating. Fascinating. Within the coaching community, people talk about money really easily. Like, of course, you're going to charge for this. You just spend 5-10 grand on your coaching qualification. You just spend another 10 grand on business coaching. Of course, you want to get that money back. This is why you're investing. This is why you are growing. You understand that you don't know what you don't know, and you're going to do this. And so obviously it needs to pay for itself. So you need to charge because you've got expertise, you've got specialists, you're doing amazing work. That's the coaching community. And it can get a little bit mad. When I hear people charging £100,000 for some support and some coaching, I'm like, whoa, I'm not there yet. I don't know that I want to go there. But it's normal, I've invested a lot of money in my business, coaching and mentoring and support. And as I said, the last 30 years of investing in so much training. Even now I'm doing a couple of training. Even now I'm part of the big mastermind that was a big investment, and another mastermind and another program. I'm very happy to invest in it because I know it helps me to expand my mindset, to start looking at things in a different way, and to teach me skills that I don't have, because none of us were born with it. But when I think and look at the yoga and healing community, the story about money is very different. There is much more leaning towards spirituality. There is much more leaning towards giving, and usually completely overgiving. And the boundaries, within those two communities are very different. Like, coaches normally are very good with boundaries. This is profession, as well as calling, but profession. Whereas with the yoga and healing communities, the people normally have very poor professional boundaries. Very poor. I'm talking in general terms. But most people, and that comes usually from wanting to give so much, from coming from heart so much, which is really beautiful and amazing, and yet leaves those practitioners very overwhelmed, usually very poor, struggling financially, and usually leads to burnout. And so because there is more leaning towards spirituality in that kind of way, the money is viewed as secondary. And I think it comes from that misunderstanding of actually money is the greatest resource, or one of the greatest resources that we have to help people heal, to provide spaces and containers for people to heal, to grow, to learn, and to make things in a different way, to live their lives in a different way. And so it's fascinating looking at those two communities, how differently they approach the subject of money and financial freedom. When I speak to coaches, there is an element, of course, I want financial freedom. These are my financial targets. This is what I work towards. And my business needs to do that. And I'm going to work it out how to get there, because this is what I want to do in addition to doing amazing work with my clients. Whereas with yoga and healing community is this giving, 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 but also that struggling behind the scenes, usually financially. And it doesn't have to be that way. We can work in a different way. We can bring the biopsychosocial and spiritual together. If you heard me talk before, you know that for me, there is no separation between physical and spiritual. They one and the same. And that's when we start thinking or believing and trusting that everything is sacred. Life is sacred. My life is sacred. Your life is sacred. And within my life, there is my work. And therefore, my work is sacred as well. And within that, there is financial freedom, and that's sacred as well. And I can choose to use that financial freedom for amazing stuff that is sacred, sacred work with my clients, sacred life with my family. It changes completely how we start viewing it. Because ultimately, we don't want this amazing resource of money and financial freedom to go to people who don't care about making positive social change, because they want it just for themselves to have a better life, not for others. And so coming back to knowing what's most important for us and including financial freedom and the resource of money within that, imagine what you could do with that. So my invitation to you is to sit a little bit with it, reflect on it, notice what's your even a process about this, notice maybe different parts that come up in resistance to it, and how you can soften that resistance. How can you then say, not that I am financially free or I am a woman who earns this and this, but really thinking the other way around. Who do I need to become? How can I embrace those different qualities? How can I start moving towards more of really enjoying this life and making that positive social impact? This is not one and done conversation. This is just the beginning of the conversation. And this is something that we do in the Embodied Business Mandala Mastermind and Mentorship program. If you are interested, reach out, let's talk, let's see if that program is right for you and whether you can join us in creating and growing your profitable, thriving, sustainable, and sacred business. And for now, I just wish you a good day and enjoy the beautiful summer.